Coach, your reflections after tonight's matchup against Racing.
Yeah, I think again the I think for the majority of it we control it. Obviously, it's a very difficult team to play against if you don't score early because they're very direct. They slow the game down. They play their own way. Uh, it was really a game that it was going to be decided by the team that was able to be good in front of goal. Obviously, they scored an amazing goal with Taylor Flynn, so congratulate them from here. I think we had the chances definitely to probably at least draw the game or win it, but in this case we didn't. I think still is a process for us. Were obviously we saw at the end with the players coming on, a lot of still very young roster trying to, we are growing for the long term. And today it took us. Oh, sorry, we obviously lost the game, but this group keep learning, keep growing, and I'm still proud of them.
All right, we'll start with Jenna.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Coach, for taking the time. Coming off of this match and also the match against Chicago, these were two games where the teams are pretty comfortable letting you possess the ball and move it around, and then here it was a draw against Chicago, but here they were able to kind of get you with that amazing Flint worldie. I'm just kind of curious, kind of your thoughts on how the team can do better when a team like Louisville is kind of dominating on the defensive side of the sheet, even though you outshot them, outpossessed them, and kind of what your sense of that is for the team.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to be able to be effective in front of goal. I think obviously the games that we've been able to win, we've also taken our chances. At the end of the day, this is football, and you don't win games for having more possession or having more shots. You need to score, and when you don't score, it becomes a little bit harder. There is still, a lot of where I always like to see the glass half full. Today. We could have Jess Carter for 45 minutes, Mandy for another 45, Jason and Mitch. Now they gone a little bit higher up on the minutes, which also helps, like the team step by step. I think we were in that process, and I think the more time that we play together, that we get to know each other on the pitch, that we're able to compete, that having Sophia Cook back in, I think everyone started to see what she can bring. I think it is who we are gonna be, and I think the longer the season goes on, obviously the better we're gonna be.
And I just wanted to ask about the decision to take off Neely for Taryn. Was that a tactical change, or and just in general, some of the subs were these tactical, or is it still because of limited minutes?
No, I think that probably was almost the only tactical or decision that we made. Also, Sarah for Ella, I think Ella could give us something, and she definitely did. Obviously, still she's coming back after the injury, so it's taking her a little bit of time to get her form. But she was fantastic today, Ella Stevens, and I think with Taryn, what we were looking for, it was obviously to try to have a little bit more of penetration on the ball. I think we had the complete control of the game. Neely did a very good job during the time that she played, and then she came on. We obviously had those other conditions on Jess Carter, on Jace, on Mitch. That when you prepare the game plan, they obviously have an influence because you already need to think ahead of those apps. But for me, it's always about protecting the players, making sure that they are good for the long run, and step by step, those things are important. No?
And last one for me, and thank you so much for taking the time. On the broadcast, they mentioned that the team is targeting end of the month for a Rose Lavelle return. I just wanted to ask for some clarification on that.
Well, I think with Rose, we are still working on it. There is nothing confirmed from me or the club that is the target. Obviously, it's a player that's working incredibly hard behind the scenes to be able to help the team. It's obviously an important player for us. I hope we can have her with us as soon as possible. But at the moment, we don't have a specific timeline in terms of when she will be back.
Okay, so that target at the end of the month is not accurate. Is that?
Well, the target what we are doing is trying to get her as soon as possible in the best shape possible, and that takes a little bit of a process. So I'm not in a position where I can really confirm that, the target is the end of the month at the moment.